Nigeria's history will be incomplete without the story of June 12 being told again and again.
Our decision to recognize and honor June 12 and its actors is in the national interest. It is aimed at settling the national healing process and the reconciliation of the 25-year history wound caused by the annulment of the June 12 elections.
In keeping date with history, 30 years after the struggle for democracy in Nigeria, the mantle of presidency finally fell on one that fought for it.
You cannot talk about democracy without referring back to June 12, 1993, after the military debacle, and in their own wisdom, they decided that it's time for them to appreciate democracy. So ever since then, Nigerians have not looked back, but democracy is a gradual development, which I believe we are still learning from mistakes, even though it's not Huru yet. But I believe with this administration of Ashwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who participated fully in the struggle towards the attainment of democracy in Nigeria, I believe we're in a good hands. That democracy has future, is the future, and it's still going to be. We don't have any alternative than democracy. Like they always said, the best benevolent military regime is worse than the worst democratically elected president. So I believe with this administration, with the background, with its antecedents, it will consolidate more on democracy. And I think we are moving ahead. 25 years is quarter of a century. So even though we wobble and hobble, but we are still moving on. I believe is in tune with the Renew Hope agenda of the president on how to consolidate our democratic values, strengthen our democratic institutions, and enlighten the masses, the values, the core values of democracy.
General Ibrahim Babangida, one of Nigeria's past military head of states at the end of his administration, initiated the birth of the Third Republic. President Ibrahim Babangida created two political parties, namely Social Democratic Party and National Republican Party, with the intention of handing over power to a democratically elected president.
Election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima, it is the real validation of June 12 election, if you know history. Because at that time, MKO Abiola from the southwest paired with Ambassador Babagana Kingibe from the northeast. And that election, which was done, is an election that united Nigeria like no other election you can think of. There was no violence, no thuggery at that time. Everybody was just willing to, and you'll be in the same house with me and you'll be in NRC, I'll be in SDP. There'll be no rancor. MKO Abiola from Abeokuta, Ogun State, defeated Tofa of NRC in his polling booth in Kano State. He defeated him in his local government. Abiola got more votes in the local government of Tofa and also in Kano State, more than the presidential candidate of NRC. Do you think these kind of things will happen now? You have to really think deep, to all hope deep. But then it did happen in Nigeria, and there was no rancor because everybody knew. Even the people in NRC said the thing that Abiola has won fair and square. That was why people were so angry with the military for annulling that election. But today we have seen something similar to that happen with Nigeria, with Ahmed Tinubu being the president of Nigeria and Kashim Shettima from the Northeast also as being the vice president. So it's a replication of what happened during the June 12 election that was illegally derailed by the military.
On June 12, 1993, Chief MKO Abiola, under the Social Democratic Party SDP, won the election in an election that was described as free and fair, but was annulled by General Ibrahim Babangida.
I looked at June 12 in two ways. The first one, at least for once, Nigerians accepted that it was the freest, the best organized election, free, fair, and so on, all everything. I think what is missing is, unfortunately, we cancelled that election. We were in government at that time, and we knew the possible consequences of handing over that government. We did swear that ours was going to be the last military coup that we were going to handle. So we wanted to make sure we handed power to a democratically elected general. To be honest, the situation was not ripe to hand over at that time.
After the annulment of the June 12 election, you remember there was Nadeko. Nadeko was the opposition to the military then because of the illegal annulment of the June 12 election, which was described as the best election ever conducted in Nigeria. And I believe still it is the best election ever, the most transparent, the most free and fair elections. But the military were not ready to leave the scene, and so they annulled the election. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu was among those, or I would say the backbone of the resistance of the military to truncate that transition and continue to rule Nigeria. And older statesmen like Chief Anthony Enahoro, Wole Soyinka, and many of those guys formed the Nadeko in order to oppose the military. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the backbone of that Nadeko, and they all went into exile. To some of them in UK, some in the USA, some of these because of military were looking for them in order to incarcerate them or do something which is contrary to, because the military could not tolerate the opposition of people like him. And they sacrifice a lot, because it takes a lot of sacrifice to leave your country, to go and live in exile. A lot of politicians you see around here, they have not sacrificed anything. They are just there, and they are politicians, they are in office. But those who know what it is to struggle, those who know how to sacrifice a lot of their goodwill, because Bola Tinubu was not just an ordinary man. He was an accountant with Mobil Oil Company. So he was a comfortable person. He doesn't have to bother himself about coming into any struggle. He could have simply gone back to Mobil Oil and continue being an accountant there, and that would be the end of the road. That's what a lot of people in Nigeria do anyway. But he chose to fight the military by forming that Nadeko, and they continued fighting the military until the military themselves felt that enough is enough. And then the new democracy came in 1999.
After the annulment of June 12, that led to the creation of Nadeko, which insisted turn of Nigeria political dictation to a democracy. And you will agree with me that in history, in the likes of Nelson Mandela of South Africa, Jomo Kenyatta Kenneth Kaunda in Zambia. These are great leaders who fought for democracy in their nation's history and are rewarded by the presidency of those nations. Bola Ahmed Tinubu obviously is reaping the fruits of his labor as a pro-democracy agitator, as a pro-democracy strategist, and as a pro-democracy affirmator.
The struggle for democracy in Nigeria came to its peak to press for the revalidation of the June 12, 1993 presidential election and the reinstallation of all democratic structures. But Chief MKO Abiola, Nigeria's symbol of June 12, died.
Unfortunately, as he was about to die, I was in my house. In fact, I received his wives, Doyen and Bisi, and his daughter. They were visiting me because I had arranged, because I'd been working all along, for them to have access to Chief Abiola. And finally, General Abdulsalami Abubakar called me and said, okay, you have it your way, let them come and see him. So they had come spend the night in my house. And they were going to go back to Lagos. They had seen him the previous night. And they had very long conversations, and they were all happy. And they were going back to Lagos when General Abdulsalam Abubakar phoned me to say, where was I? I was at home. Come. So I went. By then I was not in government. I was a private person. And he told me that Chief Abiola had been taken to the clinic in a bad shape. So I called my house and told my wife to stop the wives and the daughter going back. I'd get back to them. So I went to the State House Clinic, and he was taking his last breath. So I then went back to the house and told the family to follow me to the head of state. Meanwhile, I had told General Abdulsalam Abubakar that he should tell them himself what happened. So he left the office, went to the house, and I went with the family, and they broke the news to them.
On May 29, 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in as the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's swearing in and the June 12 Democracy Day celebration can best be described as keeping a date with history.
I think June 12 decision by former President Muhammadu Buhari was a good recognition. Abiola fought for Nigeria. Abiola supposedly won elections for Nigeria. Unfortunately, destiny did not allow that to play. And what keeps life going is recognizing there's a point where destiny did a shift. And that shift, being recognized, I think is the best thing that we have done. It's kept peace within the Southerners, the Yorubas as well, felt marginalized by the decision. And I think with the celebration of democracy June 12, there's a bit of stability within the Southwest, because they recognize that their own, that day, is a special day for them. And we literally have had peace, and there's unity in collaboration. I think it's a beautiful thing that we have done, and I pray that it continues and no policy or no government would come and upturn it, because it's not stopping, but it's also making us as a great nation. So most people ask the question, what's the difference between May 29th and June 12th? So, and maybe Nigeria needs to do a documentary to bring the history of what's, because a lot of our kids don't know what June 12 is all about. They know that our swearing-in ceremony is May 29. Do we call May 29 Democracy Day or Inauguration Day, and then June 12 Democracy Day? In my own layman understanding, I think that May 29 is the inauguration for a new president, and June 12 is our nation democracy day, because that's history, and we cannot proceed without remembering history of our nation.
No doubt, June 12 comes with its many lessons of democracy. As a date set aside for democracy, how has democracy impacted on the nation?
Well, like I said, democracy is a system of government. It's not the best system, but it's what we have. And if that's what we have, then we have to also nurture it and protect it. Because a lot of people call themselves Democrats, but really they act in a very undemocratic manner. You see governors or senators or members of House of Reps making statements that are really alien to democracy. Or you see a governor making some rules that are against the people. Or you see the real tragedy of Nigeria is that people who are in government, who are supposed to be the executives, like local government chairmen, like presidents, like governors, the whole essence of democracy is to take care of the people, welfare and security of the citizens. That's the whole essence of government. Otherwise, everybody can go on his own and be in his own house and be his own government. But because we are multitudes, so we say the primary function of government is the welfare and security of the citizens. But you see, governors are given funds to take care of the various states. Nothing happened. You don't see anything. People don't even have water. People don't have primary health care. Schools are dilapidated. The education system in Nigeria has fallen so bad that even university students now, you find difficult for them to even write an application for employment because of the falling state of education. And this is due to bad governance. Because good governance is what democracy is all about. Peace, good governance, take care of the people. Greatest good for the greatest number. Unfortunately, most of our politicians just want to enrich themselves against the people that they promised, they took an oath to serve. So I hope our politicians will learn that politics is not a career for you to come and enrich yourself. If you want to be rich, go and do business. But if you want to serve the people, then you want democracy, then you have to come and serve the people fully, with patriotism, with consciousness, with selflessness, not for you to enrich yourself.
So that belief that Hope 93 was annulled illegally, and as a Democrat who believed so much in that, who brought Hope 93, just June 12, to the nations, to the extent that June 12 became Nigerian Democracy Day, as against May 29 before 2015. So basically, at this time of our nation's history, there seems to be so many issues, borders on economy, security, advancement, even relations, interpersonal relations, political relations. So we believe that Parliament Tinubu's renewed hope and his experience will ensure that all these things are being put together, meant, skilled and milled to ensure that Nigeria gets best for it.
It's been very eventful. There are a lot of challenges, but the most important thing is when a government is disciplined and focused, they know what they want and they know how to do it and where they will take Nigeria. So it's been very eventful. There are a lot of things we can point out to, even though the impact may probably have not been fully felt by the masses, but it's been highly eventful. We can talk of measures in curbing corruption by appointing the special investigator that shows the sincerity. The report has been given, so we are waiting the implementations of it. And there are other facets of our life, like the student loan, which is never heard of in the country before. the housing sector, the roads, you can point to the road, heavy investment in road constructions, and a lot of things. But 1 year, like I said, is very eventful. One cannot give a full appraisal, but we need to be patient and give them more support so that they can carry out to the land of destiny.
As Nigeria celebrates the June 12 Democracy Day, what does this portray for the younger generation?
Nigeria's democracy, for us, I hear people qualify it as nascent democracy. But we are happy that we have consistently maintained, democracy, and we have consistently handed over, from one government to another, smooth transition of democracy from 1999 till date. It's interesting to know that some of the key players at the time are still present currently in the democratic space. It's also interesting to see new players that are joining this field of democracy, people like myself. So the new players that are coming in are drawing lessons from those that have been there before and are also bringing in their own experiences of the current situation of things and the way the world is currently. So it's bringing skills, additional skills, new thinking based on the new world and what is happening currently, with experiences from the older ones that have been there, to ensure that Nigeria continues to sustain this track of effective and straightforward and peaceful handover from one government to the other for progress and positive trajectory in the country.
I, as a mother and an entrepreneur and an employer of labor, hope for the best and the betterment of Nigeria. And I urge Nigerians to also cooperate with Mr. President and let's help to build Nigeria. Nigeria is not about President Bola Tinubu, but it's about us as a nation. So if we support who God has given us as a leader, I think Nigeria would go back to the group, lead world record of the best economic country in the world. So I'm certain and convinced that President Bola Tinubu would do Nigeria good and will be a great president.
The grassroots are the ones that behind President Bola Tinubu's success today, because we are the grassroots mobilizers. We know what we have undergone, and we know the mettle we have played to convince them, to let them understand how important by supporting President Bola Tinubu. We gave them the past reference when he was a governor in Lagos. In the year 80s, we know how Lagos is. We have seen how he transformed Lagos. We have seen the political support he has given to other people. And that is what exactly the youth are looking up to him, to support them, to support their future. So it is their duty for them to give him 100% support in the grassroots. So we are pleading with the Nigerians to give him that chance. This is the first year. Look at Abuja in 8 months, just Abuja in 8 months or 6 months. If Aswaju is not ready for the work, the minister will not do the work. So it is not the minister, it is the Aswaju. So sin is a belief. We allow Nigerians to see what Aswaju is doing, to judge Aswaju by what he is doing.
Join us in the next episode of Global Light, plus our segments in light of global issues.